We're back to Talk Shop this afternoon with Gary Eagles and John Hill. Still waiting for the much heralded, much anticipated arrival of number 2.
Of Andrew Widows, I'm sure.
No,
he'll be here
he'd
soon.
be number 2 now. Nothing to worry about. He's going to get less and less references as the show goes on.
Oh, I see. That's right.
Our quote this afternoon comes from Donald Trump, who said, quote, "I like thinking big. If you're going to be thinking anything, you might as well think big." I thought that might almost be
I think that
keeping with
fits
what we're
beautifully
talking about.
with what we're talking about today, Brett. Absolutely.
So where did this whole thing come from, Gary?
Well, I'll tell you, several years ago we had a business plan competition that was part of our ROP career education program. And the Innovate Business Challenge actually is the 3rd revision of that, and now it's blended in, of course, under our Decade of Difference.
You mean upgrade,
program.
don't you?
Yes.
Instead of a 3rd version.
Continue to enhance and improve. And I'll tell you, it has on a number of fronts. One is we're getting far more kids to participate in the model that we currently have. Also, it's very current because it has the opportunity to take advantage of online video presentations for students. And so we get a lot of young people that are throwing out ideas about business, services or products that they might like to do or build sometime in the future.
Are these unaided concepts that the kids come
These
up
are
with
the
on their own?
concepts totally come up on their own, and they pitch them. Then we got about 100 of those proposals this year. Then out of that, there's a judging team that looks at those and picks the 40 most competitive ideas. Then those individuals are asked to address 13 business-oriented questions, detailing more specifically about their product, their service, how they go about marketing it, the cost, value, etc. And then not a full business plan, but definitely a more thorough and articulate explanation of what their business concept is all about. And then there's that group of 40 is then judged, and this year the judges screened that down to 7 individuals that they actually invited to the competition, which this year was hosted at the Ingomar on Saturday a week ago. And all 7 of our finalists received some cash awards from anywhere from $500 to $2,500, which either goes to support their business concept if it's something that they're involved in or shortly will be, or it can be used to further their education if that be necessary. And the young man I have brought with me today to start us off with is John Hill, as I said, who was a junior at Eureka High, who took his interest in knives to the next level and turned it into a small business enterprise. And he thoroughly impressed the judges with his knowledge and background. He's here to tell you a little bit more about that. And he was one of our grand prize winners of $2,500 to help further that business enterprise.
I'm sure with knives, John, you couldn't do an awful lot of work at school, right?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, times change. I remember being able to wear it on the side of the belt. Now, you'd probably get hauled off if that was part of the program. So what do you think of a presentation at the Ingomar? Not the ambiance, but having to actually do the do in front of folks that matter all of a sudden because somebody's got a hold of the paycheck.
Well, I've never done anything like it before, and I thought it was a great experience and had taught me a lot and has given me more confidence now to speak in front of people. But at first, it scared me really bad because I'm not very comfortable with speaking in front of people. But I think now that I did it, it benefited me quite a bit.
Yeah, once you can get in front, you do anything a couple dozen times, it doesn't matter
It
anymore,
was
and you just do
pretty
it.
rough at first.
So did anybody in your family help you out with the presentation portion of it, or were you kind of flying solo on this one?
I wrote my script, practiced my script, and was 100% me. I had support and some of my props from my dad and my brother, but as far as speaking goes, it was on my own.
Gary, what do you think, what do you look for as an educator when there's a formal presentation like this? Because, they say that, I guess, formal speaking in public and drowning are the two things that most people have the greatest fear of.
Yes.
We're both ham bones, so it's never entered into either of our minds
No, we're
that we
here.
should be quiet.
But we are a minority.
Yeah, apparently so. So when you see others doing this, are you grading the presentation, or are you grading and looking for more of the passion and the transference of that information? Because you've already got all the stuff
Sure.
from the previous.
Ultimately, that's what we're looking for. This isn't a speech contest, but you do have to, put forth your business idea, and you have to be able to answer questions in front of the judges. I had the opportunity to chat just briefly with John and one of the other competitors before the competition started, and because I overheard them talking about, wow, this is just not the most comfortable thing in the world. And I said, when you get right down to it, know this: everybody in that room is supporting you. That's the first thing. And number two, just if you forget your script, just remember one thing: you know your product or you know your service, and you're passionate about it. Speak from your heart, and it'll carry the day. And that's exactly what John did. You could tell he was nervous when he started, as most of the contestants were. But when the judges started asking him specific questions about knives and metallurgy, and it just came out, and everything natural, and it just flowed. And that's exactly what we were talking about.
Too bad you couldn't do the same thing in speech class, huh?
Yeah.
KINS, News and Information Times, 319. We'll be back with more from Gary, and there's somebody out there circling in the lobby, so I think
Oh,
Drew's
good. Drew is here.
I'm Alan Olson.